Hey guys, we're live. I'm Jeff with eBay Addicts, and today my guest is Michael Barrett. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. How y'all guys doing?
Man, doing great, man. You want to introduce yourself? In case people don't know, this guy was on Reyes the Entrepreneur's channel. So once you're on the channel, once you're on Reyes the Entrepreneur's channel, that means you're a real entrepreneur. That's the way that works.
Is that what that means?
I think
Well,
so. I think that's what that means, bro.
well, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here. My name is Michael Barrett. I'm the owner of Barrnett Cash Point. I'm a owner operator of ATMs. I place ATMs inside of business stores such as barbershops, convenience stores, tattoo parlors, any business that's mainly cash only businesses.
Awesome. So I saw your video. I watched it a couple of times. And if somebody's interested in getting in the ATM business, what would they need to know? Like, let's say, well, first of all, tell people you're from Texas, right? Tell people you live
Yeah.
near Dallas, and
Yes.
this is your full time gig. You don't do nothing else, just straight.
Yes, that's all I do. All I do is ATMs. I also do advertisement on top of my ATMs. I have an ebook. So I do, and I also do taxes. I'm a tax preparer as well. I was been doing
Okay.
that since 2016. So I've been in the ATM business since October of 2018. So it's been going on 2 years now. So yeah, and I live out here in Texas in the DFW area.
Okay, cool. Now you want to give us a little bit of your backstory. How did you first get into this ATM business? What got your attention? Because the thing is, a lot of people, they ride by and they see an ATM and they think all the ATMs are owned by Fifth Third Bank, or they think that
Right,
it's owned by banks. So they don't know you could own an ATM. They just see one and they're like, oh, okay, well, that's owned by Mid Florida Credit Union or whatever it is. They just think that it's owned by the bank. So how did
right.
it click in your brain and you're like, okay, I could do this? Like what got you started, man?
Well, this how it goes. My cousin, he's a real estate agent. Oh no, he's in real estate. So, late nights we have conversations, of how, to get up out of our situations and make it better. So one night he just called me. He was like, "Hey man, did you know you can own an ATM machine?" I said, "No, no way you can own no ATM machine." He was like, "Yeah, you." And I did my research on it, and 85% of ATMs that are out in the public are owned by independent people that own ATM machines. So that piqued my interest. So from there I went and did my research on YouTube University, seeing, if there was a real deal. So at the time I was working security for Tyson Foods out here in North Richland Hills for a while. And I had a friend that was a manager at Amazon, and she was a janitorial manager. So I got that second job, and I had it in my mind, hey, I'm gonna do this. So I just started doing my research on it, saved up my money for those two jobs, bought my first ATM. But before I did that, I got my LLC, I got my contracts, and I also found me a bank. And that's the hardest part in this ATM business. Finding a location is not hard. Buying an ATM, that's not hard. But finding a bank that will allow you to run the business, that's the hardest part.
Okay, and so first thing you did is you're like, okay, before I do anything, I'm gonna do my homework. I'm gonna do my research and find out everything I need to know about the business from jump, from the beginning, right? So you're
Yeah,
watching videos, you're joining different communities because you're trying to figure it out. Because like you said, 85% of all these ATM machines are owned by private people, right?
correct.
Right, and so how long did it take you? You said you was working two jobs. You was working on Amazon and you was working security. How long did it take you working those two jobs to come up with the money to get started to buy your first ATM? And go ahead.
2 months. It took me 2 months. I'm really good at managing my money. So yeah, it didn't take me long. I'm pretty disciplined at that. Like I only spent money basically to eat, and I went to Walmart, bought me a whole bunch of TV dinners and pizza. and ate that there, and a bunch of drinks, and more. The rest of my money was just spent on gas and stuff like that. But the jobs, thankfully, wasn't that far away from each other. Really, they were like 15 minutes away from each other. Because out here in Texas, if anybody's watching that lives in Texas, they know Amazon has at least 5 to 10 different locations out here. So this Amazon was a fresh foods Amazon. So they had all the groceries, uh, meat, everything you can name, they had it there that you can buy inside of a Walmart as in food. They had it at that Amazon. So I was cleaning refrigerators, toilets, and the whole nine. But yeah, so it took me about 2 months.
Okay, cool. And then once you got the money together and you're like, okay, I'm going to for sure do this thing. I'm going to come up with the money. In case people don't know, how much does it cost if I wanted to go buy a brand new ATM? And let's say, how much money does it cost? Around 2,500. Like, what would the ballpark figure be if I wanted to go buy an ATM machine?
Yeah, just to buy the ATM machine itself will cost you anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000. So Halo 2 will cost around 2,100. For them to come install it would bring that price to 2,500. If you were to go get a Gym Mega or one of those the ATMs that are installed into the walls, those are gonna cost you like $4 to $5 grand, because there are different types of ATMs. But the ATM that I own and the ones that I buy are hand tools 1700s and Halo 2s.
Okay, yeah, I was getting ready to ask you which ones you recommend. Hey, I wanted to say hi to the people in the chat. We got Bearded Veteran, Kentucky Fan 42, American Made, and Butterfly Hustles is here. Thanks for stopping by. So now you've done your research, and you're like, okay, I want to buy this ATM. You're looking at 2,500 around that range ballpark to buy your first machine, right? And then once you buy your machine, the next thing you got to do is you got to put money in the machine, right? Like, you can't just buy the machine and put it at a location. Like, you got to put money in the machine, or you ain't gonna make it no business, right? So explain a little bit about how the whole thing works, because you said you had to go find a bank, get an LLC, find a location, and you had to put money in the machine. So talk a little bit about that, because we try to start from the basement. We're starting from the bottom. So give us the info, bro.
No, I got you. I'm gonna give it to you in order. So the first thing you have to do is get your LLC. The second thing you have to do is get a contract. I went to a lawyer and I paid $1,000 for my contract. He's a family lawyer, but he's a lawyer nonetheless, and it's a 2-page agreement. I don't call them contracts, I call them agreements. So you get your LLC, you get your agreement, then you have to find your bank. Now, the bank is the most difficult part of this whole thing, because you can't go to a Wells Fargo and run a ATM business. You can't go to a Chase or a Bank of America. You have to go to a small credit union, a small community bank that's in your state, and most likely they'll allow you to run an ATM business, or find a bank that service in MSB. MSB stands for Money Service Businesses. So you get your bank account. Once you get your bank account, then you find your location. You get your location. You get your location on the contract. Once you get your location on the contract, then you install then that's when you go look to buy your ATM to get it installed. So those are the steps to, get into the business.
Okay, so you want to get the location first before you go spend the money to buy the machine, is what you're saying, right?
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Right. And so let's say I get a machine and I get a location, right? And let's say, like, is if I buy a brand new machine, is it under warranty? Like, if something happens, if something breaks, or how does that work?
Yes. So it depends on where you buy your ATM from. But I only bought my ATM from one company. So the company that I bought my ATM from has a 5-year warranty on the parts of the ATM. So, because I bought it new. So I have a 5-year warranty on that ATM. Now, depends on where you go, to go buy your ATM. It could be 5 years, it can be 2 years, it can be 10. But it's usually a warranty when you buy it new.
Okay, I was just wondering if like the ATMs, if they have like an expiration date, like how long do they last before you have to replace them? That's what I'm trying to get at. Like, let's say if you bought one new, would it last you think 5 years, 10 years? Like, how long do you think your investment would pay out before you're like, okay, this is outdated, I'm gonna have to replace it now?
That's a good question. I've only been in the business for 2 years, so and I haven't had a problem with any of my machines yet. Other than, of course, the normal little maintenance of receipt paper and maybe a bill jam from here to there, but all that can be fixed within a matter of minutes. But other than that, I haven't had any issues. All of my ATMs are updated and EMV capable.
Okay, now we talked a little bit before the stream started. You said when you first bought your first ATM, you said it came with a cassette. The cassette is what holds the money in the machine, right? And then when you
Yes.
first bought the machine, let's say the ATM cost 2,500, you still had to go put money in the machine. So I think you said you put 800 or 1,000. How much money did you put in the machine when you first got started and you got your first location?
That 2 months, I had saved up 3,600, so I had spent 2,500 on that ATM. I was still working my security job, so the money that I put inside of the ATM was $800 on my first ATM, and I just let that money recycle itself. And the interest that I was getting off my surcharge fees, I also included into putting into my vault cash as well, which was the $800. So a lot of people get it confused. Oh, well, I'm losing money if people are pulling money out and I'm only getting $4 or $3. No, that's not how this not how it works. How it works is, if say you come up to my ATM and you pull out $200, from that $200, the next business day, I'm gonna have that $200 that you pull out of my ATM plus that $3 surcharge fee that I charge you for using my ATM. So you're never losing any money. You're just recycling money for you.
Ba- Basically, the money is coming with being withdrawn from their bank account and is going to your account. That's basically what's happening, right? So if,
Yes,
if I
sir.
went to your ATM, if I went to your ATM and I said, okay, I'm gonna withdraw $40 out of the ATM and pay a $3 service fee, okay? So then I
Right.
would be taking the $43 would come out of my account, and then you would receive the $43 in your bank account like the next day, right?
Yep, that $40 plus that $3 surcharge fee. Yes, that will be back in my account the next day. Now you can also set it up to where it comes in every day, every week, or every month. You get your surcharge fee back to you. So it's all depending on how you set up, you structure your own business. But I do everyday deposits. Yes.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to bring this up. We talked a little bit before the show started that it is possible, if you don't have the startup cash to buy your very first ATM machine, that you could go rent one or lease one. You said they have like a lease to own type of program. Can you elaborate a little bit
Yes.
about how that would work? Like, who would I call and how would that work? Go ahead.
Well, the first place I got my ATM from is the company called ATMdepot.com, and they offer lease to own ATMs. So I never did lease to own because I don't believe in that stuff. I buy my stuff right out cash. Everything I own, I cash out on it, to my car that I'm in right now, to my phone. I don't do payment plans. So but on their website, it gives you an option of doing a payment plan, a leasing program, to where they will supply the ATM. You will pay a piece that of the ATM every month to them, so you own the ATM itself. So you can do it like that as well.
Okay, now when you go put an ATM at a machine, how do you decide what the surcharge fee is? How do you decide if you're like, okay, I'm gonna charge $2, $3, $5? Like, how much are you gonna like? How do you figure out what you want to charge in that area? Do you ride by and look at other ATMs in that same neighborhood and see what they're
Yep.
charging, or how does that
Yep.
work?
You got it right on. That's one of the ways that I do it. I do go to other the nearest location that has an ATM in that area and look at, what's the surcharge fee here? how much are they paying, to withdraw money out at this location. I also look up demographics through zip code. How much is this zip code making? How much are these people average income, medium income is in this location, in this area? And it kind of gives me, a kind of a cheat sheet on how much I would charge. So I usually charge $4 at my tattoo locations. Um, Convenience stores, I charge anywhere from $2 to $3. I got one location I charge $2.75. The other location I charge $3.25. So it's just based off the location in the area. And I also talk with the store owner, business owner, like, hey, what would you think your customers would be more comfortable paying? I done had a guy told me $7. I was like, nah, man, that's too high. But
Yeah.
so it's all those things factor into what I am deciding to charge. But it's really up to me at the end of the day.
Okay, cool. I want to catch some people in the chat. We got Butterfly Hustles here today. We got Cali Reseller Lewis. We got American Made here. Girl Hustle. And so I just wanted to ask you a question. This is the question I want to ask you. Is it possible, if I'm starting from zero ATM machines, is it possible to make six figures a year? Like, is it possible to make $100,000 a year with the ATM business? Like, explain how you could do that.
Yes. Okay. So, well, first off, you have to have the ATMs, the money, the capital to even supply the ATMs. So if you're looking to make six figures in the ATM business, you will have to buy in bulk ATMs. And then not only when you buy in bulk, you will need the locations to install them. But it is possible. And I'm getting there right now. I'm making around I want to say 30,000. Basically, because I want to say that because I've added on to my ATMs, and this year has been hectic due to this pandemic. So, like, right now I'm around a $30,000 mark, but I have 5 ATMs, and one of my locations is a little slow, so I might have to move that one. Not might, I am going to move it, but right now it's just everything is like at a standstill, like the whole at a standstill. Nobody knows, what's really going on. So I'm being patient and, I'm scouting different locations. But yeah, so it's very possible. You just have to have the means to do so.
All right, so Michael, so I don't know if you guys noticed, but my man Michael here is a hustler, guys. When I was talking to him backstage, he said he was not going for 10 or 15 or 20. My man says, I'm trying to get at least 100. He's trying to get 100 locations. So you got to think like that. So if you had hypothetically 100 locations, ATM machines, and every week, every month, they spitting out money, you're making that surcharge fee times 100 locations per month. We in business now. Now we're talking. So that's one. Right. That's Right. I'm talking like right now. We're talking. My man's got bank. He's like that guy in that Scarface movie. He's got that big duffel bag full of money. That's gonna be my man here, right? Yeah.
Right.
My man's got that big duffel bag. It's a big duffel bag of money over his shoulder, walking out like Scarface. That's what I'm talking about. When his guy's walking out, that's you, Michael. Right.
With a whole bunch of army guns.
Yeah. Right, that's what I'm talking about. The dudes with AKs walking down the street with a big van with a big old money bag over his shoulder. That's my man, the Scarface. That's you, bro. so
right
tell me, right? So how would you do that? So I mean, because my thing is, I talk about is you got to be able to reinvest your money. So you said your plan was you wanted to buy 10 to 15 locations per year. Okay, so hypothetically, let's say you go and you buy 10 locations a year. In 10 years, you should go from 0 to 100 locations, right?
Right.
So, what's the game plan to make that happen? Like, are you just going to take the money, the dividends that you made, and reinvest it back in your business? How would that work?
Well, right now, I'm working with my bank to become a processor. So, with me being a processor, I technically wouldn't have to own 100 ATMs right out. I could process for other people that want to get into the ATM business. So with being a processor, what that entails is basically being the middleman to communicate to the person that is using the ATM and the person that owns the ATM sending the money through. The ACH is the wired money. So that way I can get the interchange fees. And that's another way you can make money in the ATM business on top of the surcharge fee. So you get an interchange fee. What an interchange fee is, say you go to my ATM, you got a MasterCard, and you use a MasterCard at my ATM. For you using a MasterCard at my ATM, your bank, you don't get charged for this, but the banks charge each other 30 cents, 15 cents, 25 cents, you know, just based off different cards. So that's one way that I'm looking to get to 100 ATMs. Another way is building a team. Right now I'm solo. So but I do have some prospects that I'm, taking under my wing, to build my team up. But so those are the two ways that I'm looking to get to my 100K mark.
Right. So let me ask you a question now. I got a bunch of questions for you today, but let's say you have a machine, and what is the average payout per location? I know it varies by locations because you have some that's at like a convenience store, at a gas station that pays
Yep.
out, and you might have one at a barbershop or another restaurant, and it's a slower foot traffic, so you're getting less transactions. But let's say
Yep.
let's say I have a machine. Let's say I paid my $2,500. I bought my first ATM machine. What would I expect my average payout to be per month? Would it be 3, 4, 500 a month, 2,000 a month? Like, what would be an actual average number that you would get from an ATM machine if I bought one? Like, if I walked in there today and I'm like, okay, I paid 2,500, I bought my first machine. What should I realistically expect per month to make from this one machine?
See, that's an awesome question. And on YouTube, when I looked it up, those people lie to you. They tell you, hey, you're gonna make $400 per location. It's possible. That's very possible. You can make $400 per location. You can make up to $1,000 to $2,000 per location. But that depends on the location, and that depends on the foot traffic in that location. So, but what I've realized is my rule of thumb: if I'm not making at least $250 per location on an average in a month, then it's time for me to pull it out. If I'm making anything less than $250 a month, now if you do the math, now the ATM itself is an, you can sell your asset. You might not get full price about what you paid for the ATM, but you'll get at least 85% of what you paid for the ATM. So the ATM itself is an asset. The money that I'm putting inside of the ATM is liquidation money. So I can also pull that out at any time. Go
And
ahead.
the location is an asset. Not everybody has that location. So when you have a location, it's almost like if you had a franchise of a Subway or a McDonald's, you got that location on lock. So that
Yep.
location is an asset as well.
Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to creep up on your location, they'd be like, "No, man, I'm good. I'm already under contract. I got a spot." So that
Yeah.
location is an asset as well. So you said that you could sell your ATM machine. So I wanted to get into that because I heard that you could buy a location or you could buy an existing route of ATM machines. Could you speak
Yes.
on that and talk a little bit about how that works?
Yes, you can definitely do that. You can buy existing locations, existing routes. So usually I don't do that. I go out and get my own locations. And and the reason being, I'm going to explain to you. The reason why I do that is because people can mix up numbers and sell you anything. And if they're selling the location, in my mind, that means that location is not profitable. So I wouldn't necessarily buy a location. Now I would buy the ATM at that location and maybe see how it's doing, but I would never buy a existing ATM route myself personally. So I usually go out and get my own routes. But you can buy existing routes. People do sell, their routes. Now, if you look at it, I seen a route for 7 ATMs at, but they wanted $62,000 for it, and I just didn't see myself paying that. But like I said, you could. That's a quicker way to get into the business. But at the same time, you gotta realize, why are they selling their portfolio? Are they just wanting to exit the business? They're tired of the business, or is that business not being profitable? You got to take all those things into factor. So I wouldn't advise buying an ATM route. What I would advise is putting your boots on the ground, going to go look for your own locations and buying your own ATMs and starting your own empire. Because at the same time, now hypothetically, say if I bought that location, well, his portfolio of locations. Now, I'm pretty sure he didn't get all those locations at the same time. So what if I bought that location and the expiration on the contract is next month? So then we got to go and renegotiate. You get what I'm saying? So that might not be the best route to go. That's why I wouldn't do it.
Okay, now when you said renegotiate, I want to ask you some questions on that. Oh, we lost for a second. So when you say renegotiate, what people don't know is when you have your ATM at a business location, you got to give them a percentage of the surcharge fee, right? Like they ain't
Right.
walking out there empty-handed. You got to make
Right.
sure they getting paid too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So explain that to people because they think they just got an ATM machine and whatever the surcharge fee is, they're keeping all of that. They don't understand that you got that the owner, he ain't gonna let you walk out. He sees a pile of cash. He ain't letting you walk out of there with a pile of cash without him getting his cut, right?
Yeah, no, nobody does anything for free. This
Right.
and I believe that they look at me as a millennial. I was born in '94. So I guess I'm the Generation X or millennial, however you want to call it. Most people my age think that the knowledge should be free. You should get all these things just handed to you. I know that I was raised by older people. So I know that nothing is free in life. But how I negotiate, I don't pay any of my store owners no more than 10% of their surcharge fees. Of the surcharge fee. Now, if it's a great location, like one of my locations, I pay him 25% of the surcharge fee. But he's pumping out 100K, 200K a month, like easy. So
Really?
yeah, like just in volume, he's pumping out 100K, 200K
So
a
so
month.
how much are you making a surcharge fee at that location?
I'm making around 2 grand a month.
Right. From just that one location. Now most people they
Yeah,
gotta bust their tail to make 2 grand a month working a full-time job. My man's doing that from one ATM at one location, right?
facts. Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So
Right. Okay.
that goes back to what I was saying originally, that you can have a location that makes you $2,000 a month. Then you can have a location that makes you 200, 250. But if you're doing the math on it, this ATM you own forever. And you got a contract. And if you're wise enough, you'll make your contract stretch out. See, I don't negotiate, I don't sign contracts nothing less than 3 years. Nothing less than 3 years. So if you're smart, you'll factor that in. Okay, low worst case scenario, if I make $200 a month for 3 years, I know within the first year and a half, this ATM will be paid off. Or in the first year, this ATM will be paid off. The next 2 years will be all profit. Or next 6 months. Base it off of that.
Right. So let's say hypothetically, let's say your location pays you $300 a month and you paid $2,500 for the machine. So basically in 10 months you made your 3,000, you made your money back what you paid for the machine, right?
Right. Now you're
Okay,
in the
cool. I got go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay. I got a question from the chat. Butterfly Hustle, she has a good question. She says, do you restock your money every day at the machine? Because we talked before the show started. You said you have something called a back office. So you have something that tells you when the machine's running low on money, when you need to restock it and all that. You want to talk a little bit about how that works? I mean, is it an app or how does that work, bro?
Yeah, no, it's not an app. So when you buy your ATM from your ATM people, the ATM companies that give you the ATM, it's that you usually process with them. So when you process with them, they give you a back office. So in your back office, you can see real time transactions on how much money is being taken out of your ATM, and how much money is left in your ATM. So to answer your question, no, I do not fill up my ATMs every day. Mostly I'm at home trying to figure out other revenues or getting money. But no, I don't go there every day. I go there some locations I go twice a week, some locations I go once a week. So it just depends on, but I usually map out. See, I give my locations a trial period. So during my trial period, I figure out, okay, which days are they the most busiest? Okay, which days are they the most business? How much money do they take out within that month? And it usually be the same amount every other month, unless you have like you have a holiday coming up. Like in the tattoo industry, I don't know if you know anything about the tattoo industry, but on Friday the 13th, which we're having one this Friday, it's big in the tattoo industry. So they're gonna run through a lot of money because a lot of people are gonna get tattoos on Friday the 13th. So it's just about you, number one, knowing your location. Number two, watching your back office, seeing how much money is being taken out every month. And then you plan accordingly.
Yeah, you don't want your machine to run out of money, because if your machine runs out of money, then you're not going to get no surcharge fee because you're out, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No
Right.
money in there,
So,
that means you don't get paid.
but if you don't no money in the machine, you ain't making no money. So we got a question from Bearded Veteran. He says, "Do you have insurance on the machines in case of theft or property damage?"
See, that's the thing about the ATM business. You can't get You can get insurance on the machine itself, but you can't get insurance on the cash that's inside of the machine. Because for one, it's always changing. So they'll never cover the money that's inside of the machine, but they will cover the machine itself. Now, me personally, no, I don't have any insurance. I am my own personal insurance. I have a separate account just in case I have any damages, any repairs need to be made, or any theft will occur. I also have GPS trackers uh, inside of my ATMs, and I also do advertising monitors on top of all my ATMs as well.
Okay, cool. Now I have a question. So, what kind of expenses do you have with the ATM machine business? Is there, you said, is it connected to the internet? Do you have like internet connection fee? Is there any other expenses that we need to know about besides? I know you said you give the owner a cut of the fees, but is there any other
Right.
things that we need to know about as far as like monthly expenses in order when we started our business?
Right. So my gas, that's the locations, that's the expense. I do have a wireless modem at one of my ATMs, but the other four I use an ether cord, and I just run the wire and connect it to the store owner's internet, so I don't have to pay a wireless router modem bill every month, which is not much money. I mean, the most I pay for that is like $20, $20 for a month. So just to have it up and running. But other than that, what I say, gas, the one wireless modem, maybe receipt paper, and that's it. That's pretty much it.
Okay, man. So how do you go about, like, do you have a route that you do a week to go stock the machine? Do you have a certain route that you take, or how does that work?
I'm random, so I never do anything at the same time, at the same place, or on the same days. That's for my safety and the safety of my family. So I don't go. I don't have a set time to go. I just get up and go. That's the wonderful thing about this. I don't have a boss. I don't have anybody to tell me, oh, you have to go to this location. Even if my location runs out of money, I'm going to go because I'm motivated to get more money. But say if I'm busy or something, I can put it off to later if I wanted to.
Nope. Hold on 1 second. I think we lost him. Here we go. Go ahead. You froze up for a second. You there?
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We just froze for a second. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, like I said, I
So
don't have a
what I was
set
going to say
time.
is,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
No,
No, I
what I
was
was
gonna
saying
say you want to
was,
keep a low profile. You don't want to go be flashy when you're going to these locations. You want to be like incognito. You don't want to be out here, drawing attention to yourself, right?
yeah, no, I go randomly in the most locations I have a key for. So I can go in there at any given time. So I usually go early in the mornings, like 5 o'clock in the morning, maybe 10 in the morning, random times, maybe late at night, when they're closing or something like of that nature. But I never go at the same time, and I never go on the same dates. Like it just be random. If I'm feeling like, hey, maybe I got $1,000 left inside of this ATM. Well, maybe let me go ahead and go put 5 grand in there so I don't have to come in there for the rest of the month. Things of that nature.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how do you determine how much money you put in each machine? You just say, okay, I'm going to put 500 in this one or 1,000. It just depends on how busy the location is, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, tell people about your ebook. You said you wrote an ebook. If someone was interested in the ATM business, tell us a little bit about your ebook. I linked it in the description.
Yes. So in my ebook, it basically gives you the pros and cons of the ATM business. Of course, it also gives you the steps, like I just told you, the LLC, getting into the business, what banks you should be looking for, what locations are best for placing an ATM inside of it. Just giving you different uh ideas of how to start. You can start with loans, or you can start like I did, just grinding hard. And in that book, it'll give you everything from basically A to Z, except for exact names to banks or things of that nature. But everything you need to know about the ATM business is in that book, in that ebook, and it's only $15, I believe.
Yeah,
So
I was going to say it's not expensive. So if you're interested in learning more about the ATM business, you go check out his ebook. It's $15. He's not trying to break the bank. He's just trying to be eye to eye, nose to nose, trying to drop and give you information on everything you need to know with starting this ATM business and getting it up off the ground. Because I like the idea of, think about it, if you made 6 figures a year from your ATM business and it was all semi-passive, and that's all you did is come through the locations, stock the machines up, boom, you're in and out. And like you said, you got that brown paper bag money, right?
yeah, and it is
Right.
and it's a natural high that you get when you're sitting in the bed and you're looking at your back office and somebody just came to your ATM and pulled money out of it. And even if it's like $3 you made off of it, you just made $3 not doing anything. I used to go.
Yeah.
I worked at every hard job you can think of, down to warehouses, to furniture stores, to security jobs. And by far, this business has changed my life. It's changed my life.
Right. When you said you're looking at the back office and said, you're making $3 surcharge fee, that's how I feel when I sell something on eBay. I'm like, ka-ching. I'm like, yeah, let's get it. That's the
Yeah, so
same
you know
feeling
the
I get when
feeling.
I sell something. Right. When I sell something, like when I sell something ATM, I'm like, ka-ching. I'm like, yeah, we did it. We getting it. So that's the same type of feeling. I got a question here from Wendy. She says, hey, eBay addicts, does he pack heat when he fills the ATM machines? She wants to know if you got a gun to defend yourself. I assume so, because you're in Texas. So
Yeah.
you don't have to show you don't have to show it. You don't have to show it to us,
I
bro.
got it.
They just asked. So
Yeah. Of course.
okay, so he's got my man's got a brown paper bag and he's got a black bag. So you
Yeah,
don't want
with
to
a
fool with him,
shoulder
right?
strap. With a shoulder strap.
Right, okay, right. I told you.
Yeah, I'm strapped.
He's like, hey, I'm telling you, you gotta look out. So, what is the pathway to go from 0 to 6 figures a year in this ATM business? How many locations do you think someone would need to do that? Like, I'm at ground zero. I have no locations, no knowledge, no nothing, right? How do I go from 0 to 6 figures a year with my ATM business? How many locations do you think someone would need?
Right. So 6 figures, that means you will need to make around 10 grand a month, right? To make 6 figures a
Well,
month.
it's right. Yeah, it's right around 8 grand. But go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So 8 grand. So that's not even 100 ATM machines. I would say around 20 ATM machines, you can make 6 figures easily. Wait, probably a little bit more than 6 figures. About around 250K, 300K, easy. I've been doing the math on it myself. So you wouldn't need 100 ATMs. You would basically need around 10 to 20. 10 to 20, depending on the location, you can make that 6 figures easy. You get you some
Yeah,
hotels, you get you some motels, you get you some
right.
convenience stores, you get you some
I'm with it.
tattoo parlors. Hey, that 100,000 gonna be like that's a little shopping money. You gonna make
Right. Right. Now we're with that. We with that. Yeah, man. I'm with that, man. So hey, man, I want to appreciate you coming to hang out with me, man. Give me your top 3 tips. If someone wants to get into this ATM business, give me your top 3 tips that they need to do. Right. If I'm
okay.
going to get in the game, go ahead.
Okay, number one tip, you gotta be good at money management. You have to be good at managing your money. Number two, you have to understand the ATM business itself, which my ebook will explain that to you as you want to learn the business. Number three, you have to find a good bank and not lie to your bank. Most people, when I was looking up this business, they told me to lie to my bank and say that I run a vending machine business. Don't do that because they will hold your money and lock your money up. That way you won't have any money coming in and you won't have any money coming out. So those would be my three top things because the bank is the most important thing of it all. Not even finding the ATM or getting the location because those things are easy. You can do that in your sleep if you really knew what you were doing. Like through Facebook Market, you can advertise that you give out free ATMs to business owners. And I got a lot of locations just by doing that alone. But the bank, I can't stress that enough. That would be the biggest obstacle for anybody to get in this business. Is finding the right bank.
Okay, cool. We got a question in the chat. They said, "Do you reinvest your money to buy more ATM machines?"
Yes, I do. Now, I also reinvest my money. I put screens on top of my ATMs to run digital advertisement. So, with my digital advertisement, I have a realtor. I have a woman that cleans houses and cleans commercial units. Um, I have a nail tech. I have tattoo artists that run ads on top of my ATMs. And I charge them $50 a week. So $50 a week to run ads on my ATMs. So that's another way I can make I'm making passive income off my ATMs too. So on top of the surcharge fees, I make money using my screens on my ATMs.
Right. It's like we talked about earlier. The location is an asset as well. Right.
Right.
So what he's doing, he's got a flat screen LCD on top of the ATM machine, and then people pay him a fee to advertise on your machine. Right.
Yeah. Digital advertisement is a $2.5 trillion industry. Look it up. It's a $2.5 trillion industry. So and I realized that by doing my research.
Okay, awesome, man. I'm gonna go ahead and link your where people can find you at on Instagram. I'm gonna go ahead and tell them where they can find you at on Instagram. I'm gonna link it down below.
Okay, cool. Nah, man,
And
I appreciate you for the interview.
hey, I appreciate you coming to hang out with me. Not a lot of people want to give you any game about the ATM machine because they feel like they're creating competitors. They're like, no, I'm not telling you nothing about it, and they won't even return my calls, bro. They're like, no, can't do it, won't do it.
Now,
So
look,
tell people right.
one thing I know for sure, I can sit here and all day and tell you exactly how to get into this business, but some people won't even take that first step. So I don't have a problem with giving out the information because 8 times out of 10, most people won't even take the step to do it in the first place. And then the other 2 times, they might not find out, it's for them. And then that one person might have actually, been blessed like me from watching somebody and actually, taking action. So I don't have a problem with sharing information. But I usually do charge for sharing my information.
Right. So, my man, you're a consultant too. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So
I do
give
mentorship.
right. Give me your final thoughts, bro. If somebody wants to get in the game, I know we're gonna go ahead and link your ebook in there. Give me your final thoughts. And first of all, I want to give a shout out to people in the chat. We got Wendy here. We got Bearded Veteran. We got my man BK from the Rockies is here. And we had Wendy. We had Landshark Picker here today. Butterfly Hustles is here. She said, "What an excellent income stream." And
Thank you.
I don't think I missed nobody. We have Butterfly Hustles here. So go ahead, give me your final thoughts, bro, on what somebody should do if they want to learn more about the ATM business. Give me your final thoughts.
Right. First off, follow me on Instagram at cashpoint223. Follow me on Facebook at cashpoint on my Facebook page. So if you want to get into the business, you should pick up my ebook. And if you still have more questions after that, email me at cashpoint223@gmail.com. And I'll answer your questions, but I do charge, consultant fees. So, because my time is very important. As of right now, I gotta go pick up my daughter. So, I'm glad we wrapping it up right now. But I did have time. I did enjoy my time speaking with you guys.
Hey, I appreciate you taking time to hang out with me. I wanted to say hi to Tesla Picker, and BK from the Rockies says his ebook is linked down below. So if you guys want to get in the game, he's got the information will be linked down below. I'm going to drop his Instagram down below, and you guys can go hit him up. Like I said, go check out his ebook, and if you want to get started, get to it, get after it. I want to thank you for hanging out with me today, man. I appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate you too.
All right, bro. Thanks. Have a great day.
You too.